listener. This is Everything is Magically Ruined. Hassan, as the sole listener of this podcast, could I interest in you in anything? Do you need anything? Do you need I don't know. Are you bored? Do you need food, water, anything like that? Um,
I don't know what's the limits of what I can ask for.
oh, what do you want? Anything.
So if I wanted to be able to kick Nigel Farage just square in the genitals.
Well, yes, he is one of us, so we can provide you one Nigel Farage, and you can, yes, destroy his genitals in any way you see fit.
Okay, so if I wanted to get the writers of The Simpsons to actually make an entire full-length Planet of the Apes musical.
You can do that, yes. We can have the writers of The Simpsons create a full-length Planet of the Apes musical just for you. Would you like your name in the credits?
No, don't be silly. So if I say it, you'll get it for me.
Why, yes. Why wouldn't we?
I want to bang Gonzo.
So Gonzo is not one of us. He has his own free will, and we could ask him politely for you.
Look, it's harder than I've been able to get so far.
Allow us to ask Gonzo if you can bang him voraciously. We have great news for you. He will allow a 3-minute hand job.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Do you want to be on the receiving end of that or on the...
His choice.
Okay. One moment. Even more fantastic news.
Go on.
Both.
Okay. All right. This is working out great.
Yeah. So yes, Hassan, we're happy to provide you with one Gonzo for the Muppets that you can do hand stuff with.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else we can get you, Hassan?
Nope. Just plane to him as soon as possible.
Well, that's not a problem. We have one arriving in the next 2 minutes at your doorstep.
Heck yeah.
There's no airway there, however, so we will be crashing into your building. We don't have the best pilot flying. I know it's a shared.
It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine. Well, Hassan, I'm glad you are satiated with our gift of Gonzo hand stuff and a plane. Is there anything else we can get for you?
Enough heroin to kill an elephant.
You asked for that last week.
Yeah.
And did you kill an elephant?
No, it's for me.
Oh. You did all the heroin within that week?
Yeah.
Wow. That is detrimental to your health. We may not be able to provide you a second
I need the heroin to cope with this situation, so just keep delivering it fresh weekly.
Okay, I guess we can provide you with enough heroin to kill an elephant week per week. You have a lot of you have a very high tolerance for heroin, it seems. Concerning.
That's correct.
Concerningly high tolerance, actually. Can we interest you in therapy, maybe? Perhaps. Nope. Oh, detox?
Just heroin and Gonzo.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll provide that to you within the hour. On your plane. Would you like us to fly for you?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I'm sure you understand you will be high on heroin and therefore not able to fly a plane.
I also just don't know how to fly a plane. So
okay, that never stopped any of the other ones. So Gonzo flies planes all the time, and he can't fly. That doesn't mean he can't ask, and we will provide for him.
That's Gonzo for you.
Yeah, it's Gonzo for you. Well, this has been enlightening. Is there anything else you need? Yeah. Okay. I've broken free of the mind control, the hive mind. I'm fucking out. Fuck your Gonzo. You're a weird, creepy bastard, Hassan. Doing hands of the Gonzo? You know he likes it in the butt. Come on. Jesus. That's what the chicken's for. Yeah. He's a married man.
Well, the law doesn't recognize the marriage, so
you don't even like heroin. You're more of a meth guy.
I'll take what I can get.
You could have gotten the meth. You could. Hassan, we both know you are a consummately perfect pilot. You could have flown that plane.
I'm definitely not a pilot.
Okay, well, I fucked that one up. Well, Hassan, now that I've broken free of the hive mind, we might as well do this podcast that we're attached to. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, Tristan, we're here to talk about the show Pluribus.
Yes, we are.
So for anybody who is, I shouldn't say somehow not aware. I definitely know people who are not familiar with it.
Yeah.
Pluribus is a TV show, came out last year, November 2025 is when it premiered. It is an Apple TV show from one Vince Gilligan, who, I'll be honest, that part of it where I definitely saw other people talking about it, and that him being attached to it is what got their attention and drew them in. That part of it did nothing for me. So Vince Gilligan is mostly famous for Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm a bit of a weirdo who didn't care for Breaking Bad. I only watched maybe 3 or 4 episodes of the first season, and it just never hooked me, never drew me in. So I never watched anything more than that. I never watched any of Better Call Saul as a result. So for me, I feel like I came into this show with very different expectations and just reference points than a lot of other people. For me, it was just hearing the premise of the show that I went, okay, all right, I like the idea of it, because the base concept of the show is, what if all of human consciousness was combined into one? And so this isn't really, we'll have spoilers, but this part isn't spoilers. Episode 1 is quite literally, scientists detect this signal from space.
Yep.
They figure out what it is. It's essentially a DNA sequencing message.
Yep.
They run these tests on these mice. Mice break free, infect humans, and then this causes the joining, which is what causes all of human society to just mind meld into one, save for 13 people who are immune to it, with our main person that we are following, Carol Sturka, which is just a really good name. I just it's both the Carol part, but also the Sturka part. The way that just all the characters say it is so good.
Yeah.
Just the constant "Hi, Carol," or
"Hi, Carol."
Later on, when she's just having to go, "Hi, Carol, this is a recording." It's so good. Carol is played by Rhea Seehorn.
Yep.
She does a fantastic job. But the thing that really makes this show work, and for a variety of reasons, I think why it was so celebrated and awarded is that even though it's a very sci-fi kind of concept, this isn't a sci-fi show. It's mostly a very grounded human show, because unlike, say, something like The Walking Dead, where I'd say there's a bit of a balance between, the whole like, oh, even though it's zombies, it's really a story about humanity.
Yeah.
It's also a story about zombies. Whereas this, it's really not a story about the joining. That's more of just a background event for us to focus on. But it's just like, it's an idea. It's a story element that is just there for us to focus on Carol and to see her journey going through this situation of, hey, what kind of happens when to a like certain degree you're just isolated from anybody else.
I mean, it's kind of an allegory for the COVID pandemic in a sense.
Oh, definitely.
Especially halfway through the series, the season, when like she is actually alone and just doing whatever bullshit she comes to mind.
That episode's so good.
Oh man.
But like it's not just her, right? It's also we definitely mainly focus on her.
Yeah.
There is one other character, one other, I can't remember if they have a name. Just the others, apparently.
Yeah, the others.
So there is Manusos Oviedo.
Yep.
He is played by Carlos Manuel Vesca.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to say the last name. And he is so actually, before we get there, step back. So Carol
going too far,
I think, can best be described just in general as kind of a bitch, right?
Oh,
that is how a lot of people would describe her.
Carol Sticker is just a real, she's a piece of work.
Yeah, she's just kind of a cranky person, very blunt to people.
She's a romance writer.
Harlequin romance writer,
who has like a very rabid fan following, and she does not really enjoy her fans because they're kind of a bunch of dorks, and she isn't.
Her fans or her writing, it's that, I write this because it makes money, but actually my passions would be in other things.
Yeah, I mean, she has a great American novel under her belt. Like, she's like ready to like let this go, but she writes smut. So,
and I think a little bit bitter from that. She's also a lesbian, and so I think there is a certain resentfulness towards society for having to hide her her romantic life, and
which
sort of rightfully. Her attitude is somewhat justified on a lot of these things, right? So when the joining happens, her position is basically, screw you people. I don't want to join you. I don't trust you. This is wrong. You have lost your humanity. You have lost what makes being human matter. And she summons a bunch of these others.
The English speaking ones first.
And they're basically all just like, no, we're fine with this. And she basically just snaps, cannot, rightfully.
Let me point one at the reason like this doesn't work out for her is that like she is explicitly alone and so cranky a person that she can't conceive of how to manipulate this into her own well-being. Meanwhile, you have like the other people who can speak English at this little like small convention of like survivors, effectively. Are either like they have partners who have become joined, kids, etc. So they have a reason to believe like, oh, these are still my people. But she doesn't. The only one who doesn't have anybody like that and is still into this is Kumba. And Kumba is a maniac. Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
So his whole thing is basically just he realizes, oh, I could take advantage of this and basically live out every fantasy I ever had, get whatever I want. Oh, I want to just fly around in Air Force One and eat delicious food and bed beautiful women, and society will just say, yes, of course, whatever you want. This is heaven on earth for me.
He effectively lives like James Bond.
Yeah, and he's like, what's the problem? There's no war. They're taking care of climate change.
Yep.
There's no more street crime. It's a perfect society as far as I'm concerned, and they do whatever I ask of them. Carol, why would I ever want to change this?
Yeah. So the interesting thing here, we'll get more into like the philosophical side of things eventually, I think, but I do want to touch on the idea of there only being 13 of them, and then like everybody else, of course. But those 13 people are like weighted on hand and foot, and it's an interesting little twist they do, because like you can go one of two ways with this, and either you get here are your 13 your 13 survivors, and the joined wait on them hand and foot because like their whole thing is like, oh we didn't get you to join in our bliss. Well, that's unfortunate, but we will find a way to do that, and we will eventually figure this out for you, and you can join us. But until then, anything you want is yours. And their ultimate goal is to make them join. However, they can't technically hurt them in any way, or make the survivors do anything they want without their consent. So, or is that a lie? Well, we have to discuss that too, because there's a bit of a twist at the end there.
Yeah, we'll get there on that stuff. So I do want to talk about, Carol's thing is, I am antagonistic towards the others. I will use you to get what I want and what I need, but generally I don't want to talk with you people. I don't want to deal with you. And then to an even more extreme, we have Manusos, who is Colombian, and he goes full on sort of prepper style.
I imagine he was already that.
Potentially, but he bunkers down in his what do you call it? Like a storage facility.
Yep.
And even though they are delivering him food, they'll give him anything that he wants. He's like, no, I don't trust any of this.
Just shit.
I am going to live off of food that I basically salvage out of trash cans if I have to, over trusting a single thing you people try and give to me. Which, to be fair, I could see myself going that way if in this situation, be like, why would I ever trust any of you? This is insane.
Yes, exactly.
Now, on the point of where I said, and some of what you were talking about, where I said I really don't think that this is much of a sci-fi show, is because it's a show where it's not really interested in exploring the others and what that means and how they kind of operate and work, right? It's got some like fun bits about them, and
Mm.
you know, it's not like it completely ignores it. We get to see things like, okay, um, Zosha, who is sort of the other who is sort of
She's
designated
Carol's
as Carol's
handler.
handler. Um, like we get to see through her that she can do a variety of things that she shouldn't normally be able to do, like fly a plane, because she can just access
Mhm.
the mind of every pilot on Earth who survived the joining.
Yep.
Um, we get to see things like certain intense emotional interactions can cause a sort of uh uh like, almost like a aneurysm or like an epileptic seizure out of the others if they
Mm.
are if intense emotional reactions are thrust upon them.
Yeah.
So there is some stuff like that, but generally speaking, when it comes to them, this show is not trying to explain what it means to be one of them. It's not trying to really get into the science of it or to really delve into that. It cares about showing you what it's like being the others and having to interact with them, and how a regular human has to cope and handle this situation. But most of the time, specifically Carol,
Yeah.
Manuso's also there, and then occasionally, Lakshmi or one of the other survivors, like Kusamea, the Peruvian who decides to join them eventually.
Yeah. That one's interesting.
Yeah, that one is interesting, but that's why I think this show really works. I also think it's why I have seen complaints about this show where people say, "Hey, it's very slow paced,"
But
and
that's the
uh,
beauty of it, though.
yeah, and
Slowness.
I agree with that. It is slow paced,
Slow
but
burn's
it's
good.
slow paced because it's just about Carol and Manusos trying to deal and handle this. It's not a show where it's trying to actually go, oh, the everybody's minds are joined together. What does that actually mean? It's like, no, we're not here to tell you what that means. And there's definitely, this is maybe one thing I have a little bit of a complaint about with this show is it it I don't know if it's me incorrectly reading into or expecting certain things, because if this was a show by anyone else, it would be more about the others. But it definitely, to me, felt like there was some stuff with them. So, um, things like what their actual goals are, right? Because they talk about to Carol and the others that they want them to join them. They talk about having a sort of uh uh oh, I am blanking on the proper term here, but almost their reason for being is
Mm.
that it's to just join everything together.
Yeah, that's the idea. Of
But
sentient
it
life.
yeah, but it doesn't really explain why. Or like, okay, let's say they did get all of the others to just agree, and so there are no uh you know non-joined humans.
Hmm.
The, that then what then becomes your role? What do you do? And things like when they're joined, one of the problems that they bring up to the survivors is that they're so against harming any other form of life,
Yep.
they won't even pick fruits or vegetables.
Hmm.
I believe they give the example of, we can't pluck an apple off a tree, but if it falls to the ground, then we can eat it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, okay, what? Like, is it just everybody joins together and then humanity just dies off because we don't have any way to have food?
Well, that's the thing, like that is brought up by John Cena, so yeah, so like that's the thing. Eventually we do learn how they are sustaining themselves. And like the fact that they are, the whole thing with them not being able to eat food because, well, they can eat food that has like fallen naturally and stuff that's already in storage and that kind of thing. But, you know, sure, they're not allowed to do that. They're not allowed to like pluck an apple. They're not allowed to like, you know, reap plants and crops, and they're not allowed to hunt or kill things for their food. But they can, like you said, wait until the apple falls off the tree and eat that. And of course, there's no greater amount of food than if, you know, something were to fall down dead. Notably, one of the others. I like the reveal that they are eating themselves. Whenever one just passes away, they put them into like frozen good storage, and then effectively liquefy them into a milk, and drink that for sustenance.
Yeah,
and
I like that. It's not this big crazy reveal. Because the show treats it, but that's the thing, is the show treats it as, oh my God, can you believe it? And that's kind of what my complaint is initially the show tries to make you think, okay, this is the big pivotal moment where we're going to reveal, haha, actually the joining caused this evil thing and they do need to be stopped. It's are
evil, though.
A nefarious, malicious entity. And then actually, no, it's just John Cena explained to you, hi, Carol, I'm John Cena. This probably seems a little bit weird, but... And she goes to Kumba and he's just like, yeah, I know. It's weird, but, you know, I get it. And then we just move past it. And that's kind of my complaint. It's like the show tries to make it seem like maybe there's something more going on here. Maybe, you know, they do need to be stopped because actually they're secretly hiding things and they're gonna do something nefarious. But like, that always feels weird because there's only 13 survivors. It's like, well, if they were actually nefarious and evil,
wouldn't be hard for them to actually get rid of the other 13 survivors.
Yeah, what are the other survivors gonna do against the other 6 billion plus people still alive? Good luck.
Yep.
But I'm not sure, like, what it is that the show wants us to feel about the others, right? It sometimes seems to want to make you think, hey, these secrets that they're hiding is because, you know, they're up to nefarious things, but then each time it just goes, nah, not really. And so is it just that it's trying to make, is it just playing on your expectations and trying, you know, similar, is it trying to put you in the shoes of Carol and Manusos?
Yes.
Making you believe these people are your enemies. You cannot trust these people. And then actually the same as them. Because that's what I think it's doing, is it's just setting you up to feel the way Carol or Manusos would to make you go, aha, I caught you, and then go, actually, you know, no, here's why they're doing it, and it's totally justified. And not a big deal.
That's the thing. So, okay. through Carol. Okay, so let's put this out there. Carol does keep a whiteboard list of all the facts she learns about the others, and several things are true, and that they actually do have not a maliciousness to them, but like there is more. They say they can't lie. They say they can't eat. They can't all these things, but she does catch them in these lies, and what they are doing is lying through omission, and they are trying to manipulate these people into becoming joined. So in a way, we are supposed to be on Carol and Manusos' side. However, I think what the show is best at doing is making you, the audience, ask if you were in Carol's shoes, if you were one of the unjoined survivors, one of the 13, would you be cool with joining? And you see it with Kuzumayu, who, like, when she joins, it's kind of this weirdly violent situation, and then she is blissed out, but, like, effectively, despite what they are saying, they're like, oh, you know, Kuzumayu still exists, and so does Zosha, and all these people still exist in the hive mind. They don't. Not really.
No.
But then they kind of do, though.
I really like that scene because one of the things without... It's a very much a show don't tell scene where she's from this remote village in Peru.
Yeah.
And when she does it, they're all like singing and celebrating it in what's clearly meant to be kind of a traditional way of her village.
Yes.
And then after the joining is completed, they all just stop, become very robotic, and just abandon that village.
Because they have no use for it.
I really like that scene because basically what it's showing is with her gone, the entirety of her culture, of the rituals and just what made her people who they are, it's just gone. It's just dead. That the joining completely removes all those parts of being human, and I love that scene for it because
it's a full reversal of individuality, and that's effectively what they are trying to remove, is individuality, and it seems like extreme individuality is what hurts them. So like when Carol freaks out at them and starts screaming and yelling, gets really emotional, and they shut down like across the world and cause accidents and some people die, and it turns out Carol killed like 1 million people by her outburst in the first time she does it, and that freaks her out. But like, you know, she doesn't know that happened. Really, realistically, they can tell her that all they want, but like, you know, and that's something she has to come to grips with. But you know, she didn't see it happen, and she didn't mean to do that. You know, she just got emotional. Yeah, it's just one of those things where, like, individuality is what is the weapon against them. And I think that's what the show is leading up to, personally, is that, like people who are these extreme individuals, like Carol and Manussos, are like, yeah, they're going to realize this fairly quickly, I think, in season 2. If not, they've already figured it out. I mean, Manussos actually purposely does this in the episode where he starts interrogating that one person, one of the others, and like he causes the convulsions because he needs to figure this shit out, because he knows what, like, this is a way to beat them. If this is killing them every time, why wouldn't he do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, just stepping away from kind of the plot and characters, man.
Sure, of course.
I'll say, so we complain a lot about how television and shows in general, you know, only these 9, 6 episode season type thing,
6, 7, 8,
and that, you know, a lot of TV, the budgets are getting too big, et cetera, et cetera. I will say, I think here it does feel like this show is a show where it properly takes advantage of those things. So I think
yes,
the 9 episodes is about right. I'd maybe be okay if there were 1 or 2 more episodes in this season and it maybe showed us a little bit more of some of the others or just how society is now working. But in general, for what this show is, I don't think if this show had been 26 episodes that are 30 minutes each, that this would be better or work. I think that this show really is meant to be more of a limited series, as we used to call it. I don't know that this show considers itself that, but I mean, that's what we would have called it before.
It is what it is what it was, I guess. I mean, Vince Gilligan's been around as a writer for like a long time, so I think he's very familiar with this concept. So yeah.
And then I do think that in terms of sort of budget and production and using that, it does a really good job with that. There's just a lot of cool scenes that I think it would be a lot harder to pull off. Again, if this was more of a scaled down show, just, the stuff like when, so this is set in Albuquerque. That's where Carol's home is.
Yep.
And in particular, I think about things like the grocery store where initially Carol goes there and it's just completely empty. She just has to press 1 and it gets her through to them. She's like, where's my food? Oh, don't worry. We can just deliver whatever you want to you. And she's like, nope. I want to go to a grocery store and be able to browse and pick out what I want. Okay, no problem. We'll have that fixed in a minute. And, just the sea of trucks and people coming in and just restocking it.
Yep.
Getting to see Manusos just basically traveling by land all the way from Colombia up to Albuquerque. It uses that sort of budget and just diverse set locations very well. Like when Kumba's in Las Vegas and, Carol just driving around this empty Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I think it uses that well. It doesn't feel like Stranger Things, a show that has a ridiculously large budget that just seems to go, okay, we have a big budget. That means we need big action scenes and we need to have a bunch of CGI because we've got a big budget. Whereas this goes, no, we have these ideas and they require a big budget, not we got a big budget, therefore we need to make big ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
I think other shows suffer.
I mean, not to harp on Stranger Things season 5 too much, but like when you hear one of the Duffer Brothers say like, "Oh, the cool thing about the show is the big monster," it's like, yeah, because you had the budget to make a big monster and fight the damn thing in the show.
That's not the cool thing about that show. That's not why people liked that show when it started.
No, it's like that is honestly holding Stranger Things season 5 up against Pluribus is exactly what we should be doing, because like Stranger Things season 5 is I'll be honest, I have not really watched it, but I know enough about this stupid season that like I'm not going to. I know they kind of blew their load a bit. And how they didn't do much with this season. And like they had no real ideas. They had 2 years to kind of write this season and then go and shoot it and that kind of stuff. But apparently they didn't write anything until the very end. And like clearly the Duff Brothers had no fucking idea what they were doing with the show. And honestly, they probably should have just tried to end it in season 4, if not earlier. Um, versus Pluribus, where very clearly Vince Gilligan and his writing team have ideas as to what they want to do and how to incorporate these things into the show, and they have found ways to work around, the sets and the locations, and trying to effectively like digitally erase shit in Albuquerque, New Mexico, as well as like empty out streets and that kind of thing. And like,
actually, Tristan, Albuquerque's just that empty all the time.
I would believe it, to be honest, but yeah, never been, couldn't tell you. But yeah, stuff like that, where like you have a show where people they have these like, great ideas, and then they try and execute on those ideas, and whether or not they succeed, they at least have a cool idea they're trying to get across. And I think that is a good sign of a properly well-made television show or piece of media, versus how do we spend this money. And that's 100% correct, Hassan. I agree with that take in every capacity.
Now, talking so two things to talk about with a season 2. So this is a show where Apple actually did the thing that just doesn't happen these days, and is part of why TV sucks and takes forever now.
Advertised?
Apple did sign on. But they did sign this for 2 seasons.
They did,
from
yes.
the get-go.
Yeah.
And 2 real seasons, not the we shot 1 season and then we're just gonna call it 2 separate season thing. However, just gonna so this is from Entertainment Weekly. They did a story back in December by Tiffany Kelly. I'm just gonna read some choice quotes here. So this one's from Vince Gilligan, where on season 2 he says, "We're working on it. It takes us a while. I would love to go faster if I could." And then Gordon Smith, an executive series, adds, "You know how on a timeline there's usually an arrow that points towards infinity? Well, I think we're on the arrow somewhere."
Interesting.
So by all indicate, and there are some additional quotes and some things that people have sort of gotten out of it, but basically what it sounds like is they won't even have season 2 written until probably late this year in 2026.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll start filming in late 2026, but I'm not expecting season 2 to actually air until at the earliest mid 2027.
If it comes out this year, it'll be a miracle. Yeah.
For me, that just deflates so much of what I feel and care about this show. To have watched this,
fair enough,
and then after it's done, they're just like, "Oh yeah, it's going to be a long wait until you get season 2," because this is a show that is so much about the emotion of those characters and what they're going through. And so if you tell me I have to wait 2 years, so much of that I'm going to just forget. Because if this was more of an action show, okay, I can remember this person was here and fought this thing, and this person over here defeated this thing, and then they both met up and they stopped the big bad wizard. But then in season 2, oh no, the dragons show up. Like, okay, you can give me like a very short recap and I go, yep, great, I remember where we're at. Whereas this show, you couldn't do like last season on Pluribus for 30 seconds and they just go, yes, I remember exactly all the stuff and where Carol's head was at. And it so deflates my excitement for a season 2 to know it's going to be this big, long wait for it.
I get where you're coming from. So For me, I don't necessarily have that. Okay, I've resigned myself to the fact that the TV that I like at this point, it's gonna have like 2+ years between seasons, which sucks ass. I agree with that. But here's the problem: I'm a fan of Severance, and that is gonna like season two came out like 2 years after the first season. Season three, I don't fucking know, man. 4 years probably at this point. Like considering what they're talking about and like how they're going to make this happen, it can't. It's going to take a long ass time. And I'm like, okay, yeah, when it comes in, that's cool. I better not be dead by then.
Yeah,
kind of shit.
So what I'm hearing is you're Kusamayu and I'm Manusos.
Well, no, here's what you're hearing. Is that like I've already kind of bought into that. So when a show goes like, yeah, 2 years, I'm like, I hate that. I hate that for you. But okay. But I'll just watch other stuff in the meantime, I guess. Like the problem is though, like, especially Apple. Here's the problem. And yes, you're more Kusamayu than I'm Kusamayu, and you're more you're Kirill Sturka. I'm lovable. You're not.
That's fair. Yeah.
No. The problem really comes into this is that like, is Apple TV especially. I find what they are presenting to their audience are shows that are a lot more out there and interesting, and give you way cooler concepts and executions than a lot of the other shows on Netflix. I don't know about Paramount Plus. I don't have Paramount Plus. I refuse to get that shit. HBO seems to be hot trash these days. Amazon Prime has some interesting stuff on there, but like, yeah. But like, from what I can tell, the stuff on the Apple TV is a lot more like creatively driven, creator owned stuff. Not creator owned, but like creatively driven stuff that are original concepts and like a story that people actually want to tell. And Apple goes like, we believe in that. Go ahead and do it. And it works out that yes, you get your Severances, you get Pluribus, you get Ted Lasso, Shrinking, etc. And they
is doing to Netflix what Netflix did to Hollywood when it first started, which is basically, just okay, we're gonna throw around a bunch of money to really smart creatives to make a bunch of really good stuff, and then Netflix just forgot about that.
Pretty much, yes. Netflix is now just kind of like taking their money into just sloppy shit, which is like they have thrown around the phrase, you know, this is not second screen enough, in interviews and that kind of thing. So I've heard this said about Netflix's production and how they want people to be looking at their phone more than watching Netflix, and they just accept the fact that that's the case. They don't care about engaging you anymore because they think you're not going to engage. Meanwhile, Apple has been like, hey, we make shows for you to engage with. So here's the problem. Is that like, I don't find that any other production studio, streaming service, programming, whatever, is doing much of that besides Apple. And I hate that I'm saying this. And it's just like, well, if you're going to tell me it's 2 more years for Pluribus season 2, I don't like that. I would like a season. Look, Lost is one of the best like TV, like sci-fi TV dramas of all time. That came out season per season every year, with the notable exception of the writer's strike in 2007, 2008, whatever it was, around there. They didn't really release the season then. They had to skip a year to get past that first. But there's a good reason. Nothing came out that year. But yeah, like Lost is a show that like, yeah, okay, we can go on, but the ending of Lost until the cows come home, sure, whatever. But the ideas, the execution of it, there's a lot of good stuff there to like about Lost, and that came out 23 episodes a season, 5 seasons of it. Like, and then they go like, oh, but I had a big budget for the time. But then we have like a show like Pluribus. Yeah, nine episodes per season so far, and 2 years between seasons, if not more. Like I said, Severance season 3. Who fucking knows when that's going to come out? Because like say season 2 is, it took them 2+ years to get that out too. So whatever.
Don't worry, Tristan. See, what we can do is we're going to split your brain. And so part of you has to wait, but the other part, it just instantly gets to experience season 3.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck the other part of me.
Yeah.
Wait, which one am I going to be?
There's one other thing we need to talk about of a season 2, and that is, so this show is called Pluribus.
Yes.
That comes from the Latin motto E pluribus unum, which is a motto of the United States.
Yes.
It means out of many, one. So basically they chose this motto because at the time it was the America first founding after its independence from the British. So the idea is, hey, from these colonies, we form this one nation. It's a
united
one for all scenario.
United States. That's what that means.
Just gonna gesture broadly to everything going on there now. I have no idea how that's gonna impact a season 2 because, boy howdy,
massively, I'd say.
Does the whole ICE situation seem like maybe it is something you can't ignore when you make a season 2, and what does that do to this show? I don't know, but also, boy howdy, that place seems like it's on fire in a dozen different ways, and does that start to impact your ability to film? Like, hey, if you're Carlos Manuel Vesca, here's
a Colombian man,
you could genuinely end up being deported out of the United States. Is you're going, no, I'm an act. I specifically got brought here to act. I have no, really, you're kick. Like, I don't know. My faith that a season 2 happens in this is basically a coin flip of just that place seems like utter chaos. Maybe it happens, or maybe the chaos just stops. I don't know.
That's the thing. I'm also right there with you because like There's the thing. Like, you're gonna hear this a lot, and then people are going, "Well, okay, Pluribus takes place in an alternate United States, so of course we're gonna get season 2." Sure, and of course, like what's happening now in the United States isn't going to affect Pluribus story wise. And it's like, you would be correct if the country that the show is being shot, written, acted in, etc., like you said, wasn't under the control of a fucking Gestapo, like stormtrooper fucking Nazis at this point. Like the whole ICE is effectively a secret police force, and that is how they're being wielded. And like, fuck, man, like, that is scary as hell. And so when a lot of your actors are not from the United States, what do? I guess you could go shoot off site and just be like, hey, what if we just didn't shoot in the United States?
Also, just again, in a show where the idea is, hey, what happens to people when we're all joined together and we all, humanity becomes a singular consciousness that is focused on trying to do good versus a nation that is currently heading towards, hey, what if all of humanity was under the thumb, well, not all of humanity, but all of a nation was under the thumb of a single person's will who was an evil man.
I mean, he's trying to get there with humanity.
Can you really not touch on that at all? Do you just pretend none of that happens and go, like, you could, but boy, is that going to feel weird to have this show being like, hey, you're kind of touching on things that you're you're like the other side of a coin of this thing, and it just seems like you're not acknowledging this coin has two sides and pretending it's only a one-side coin, and that's weird. Are we really not talking about that? Okay. Yeah. So I don't, season 2, in some ways, I cannot blame them for saying those things, although they said it before all this stuff kicked off, but
they did.
If I was them and someone was asking me, I'd be going, look, man, every morning I wake up and there's some new crazy thing and I have to contemplate for hours about do I acknowledge this? How do I acknowledge this? Do I put this? So yeah, that's kind of all I gotta say on that. Is just, boy, I'm glad I'm not them.
I agree. They have the opportunity to, so like I said, it could take them years before they release the new season. So who knows what they're writing right now? It could be about the whole ice situation and basically trying to incorporate aspects of that into their writing. And how do you not let that develop your writing even further? Because like I know for a fact that if I was an American citizen, I would be putting that energy, that vitriol for these pieces of shit in everything I would write. Everything. So how do you not, when you have a story about a hive mind, about joining a hive mind, effectively removing your thought process and joining what is supposedly world peace, and instead you choose individuality, how do you not kind of like put that vitriol in there? Like when you see in Minneapolis, Minnesota, 2 people gunned down for effectively no reason. When Nicole Good and Alex Preddy are killed in the streets for no goddamn reason, and you are writing this story, especially, like I said, Pluribus, bit of hive mind, it's the Nazi regime, that this is what it is, with way less violence, but more, chemical warfare. How do you not be like, yeah, I'm gonna separate that reality from my fiction? I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And especially, hey, I'm sure Vince Gilligan has a fair amount of leeway, but I'm also sure, Apple, and in particular Tim Cook, not exactly about to put out a high-profile show that's going to be critical of ICE.
Yeah.
So that's also another thing there too, of like, what can I write versus what is Apple just going to be like, okay, well, if the option is we just kill a season 2 versus allowing you to write this, we'll just kill a season 2.
I feel like that's the way.
Hey, Tim Cook, buddy with Trump. If his choices are, okay, write off, I don't know, like $20 million because we won't make a season 2 versus actually releasing this, I know what Tim Cook's choosing, and in a heartbeat, it's, yeah, okay, kill season 2. I don't care. I'd rather have my buddy Trump happy.
Yeah, that's true. As long as Trump is happy. Unless Trump is just not caring about this, effectively.
Look, what he cares, that no one can predict what he's going to care about minute to minute.
No, it's true. Effectively, as long in Apple, I'm not sure if it's true for Apple stuff right now, but as long as the phones people are using in Apple productions are Apple phones, that's all that really matters, apparently. I've heard this. I'm not sure if that still remains to be true, but it was definitely a thing in the after party, is that like they had to make sure that the people who were using Apple phones weren't villains. Which is how in season 1 of the after party, you can tell who the villain is based on the fact that he uses an Android.
Well, it's because he's not wearing blue. He should always be
blue.
There's
that too. Yes, yeah. Ben Schwartz should be wearing blue. That's how you also know he's the villain. He's a green in that one.
Yeah.
The wrong color, Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's wrong with him?
Oh.
anyways, that's all I have to say. So we should wrap it up. And why don't you tell people where to find us?
Yeah, there's actually other philosophical things we could talk about there, but just instead of talking about it, just go watch our episodes about no, that wouldn't work. Just go watch our episodes about Pantheon, and I think you might get my take about Pluribus from that. And that's not me plugging the show. I'm just saying I don't got time to go into what I think Pluribus is leading towards philosophically. So go watch Pantheon, and that's basically what I'm saying in a bit of a different context. But yeah,
Pluribus 2 just has an episode where somebody starts counting numbers. I'm gonna lose my mind.
God, I hope so. Man, okay. It would be awesome if somebody in Pluribus Season 2, the writers of Pluribus, have watched Pantheon and we're like, we got you, Pantheon fans. I'd be...
Just start hinting at a Dyson sphere. Oh, God.
I mean, look, when you have 8 billion people in the world working on one project, maybe you could get a Dyson sphere happening.
No.
Maybe.
No. We do not have technology for that, not even close.
Hey, anything is possible under Trump's America.
You're right.
Fuck. Anyway, go to our Blue Sky, which is at AFNAR. Go there. You can tweet at us. Hey, you know what? Fuck ICE. Tweet that at us. Go for it. I would appreciate that. You should also go to our, I don't know, iTunes, Apple. Hey, product. Go there. Go to our Spotify. Not an Apple product. So apparently, fuck that thing. I don't know. But don't. Go there, listen to our show. Go to our YouTube, which is also not an Apple product, but that's fine. Like and subscribe. Click the buttons that make your life happy and our lives happy as well. The buttons, you know the ones. Just mash your face across the keyboard. Just roll it across the keyboard and just see what happens. Like I do every, I don't know, Wednesday. You should also go to our friends over at DJDane.com. That's guy that does our music. DJDane.com. Listen to his great tunes. And if you wouldn't mind just, using this DNA sequencing device to make him join the hive mind.
He'll love it. He always talks about how he wants to be part of a hive mind.
Yes. It's like every day he's like, I would love to join a hive mind. And I'm like, okay, we don't have time for this. We don't have 2 hours. Anyway, that's it for our show. Tune in next time for another encashment episode of Everything's Fine is Ruined. See ya.
See ya.
Say it.